State. We just talked with Keith Carter about half an hour ago. And, John, one of the things that Keith told us is that you and Jeremy McClain at Southern Miss and he had really kind of worked together in figuring out how to roll this out after the news that we got from the governor yesterday. And I guess, first of all, I should say thanks so much for making some time for us this afternoon. Always good to visit with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. As shocking as that might sound, the ADs at Mississippi State and Ole Miss and of course Southern Miss have all worked together with this. We're just all trying to do it right, and just because something may not be your idea doesn't mean it's not a great idea. And we've had a lot of ideas. Keith and I have been in contact with the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, our state and local government. I think we both have a good plan. In fact, guys, I was just listening to him. He basically rolled out our plan, and it's so rare that you can say this. You could call it the Mississippi State Ole Miss plan or the Ole Miss Mississippi State plan. It's very, very similar.
First of all, we've got a baseball team or two baseball teams sharing a plane en route to Texas, and both play well. And then everybody's working together. It is just one big kumbaya in the Magnolia State.
Peace in our time, John. We've done it.
I haven't had cause to laugh a lot in the last week or so, so you made me laugh. That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, we have an ice and snowstorm, so we kind of come together to share a flight. By the way, how about the performance of the Southeastern Conference versus the Big 12 in that event? I mean, pretty outstanding stuff. Just watching our league play baseball right now is a sight to behold. I mean, the kids are older. The amount of prospects in this league, my God, the amount of prospects in the state of Mississippi that are playing college baseball right now it's special. I hope folks fully recognize what an incredible year this is going to be.
And the good news is more people are going to be able to see it in person now. Know that Mississippi State people specifically and season ticket holders want to hear maybe the same thing from you that they heard from Keith Carter, or maybe we've got a new audience now. Kind of walk us through the plan short term and longer term as the season progresses, at least based on what you know right now. And I know it's all happening fast.
Yeah, I would agree with Keith. You used the word phased in. I would agree with that. Although we, like Ole Miss, are going to be able to honor our season ticket holders who made the request. So we're going to be able to honor that. And in fact, our ticket office is reaching out to all of our season ticket holders in the grandstand, our chairback seat holders. And as you mentioned before about the outfield, we're going to be able to increase attendance in the outfield. But we feel like done in a responsible way. We're also going to increase the amount of students that we have. It's a very, very similar number that what Ole Miss is going to do, if not identical.
I'm still not getting the number, though, am I?
You're still not getting the number, but I can tell you it's darn near identical to what Ole Miss is going to do as well. So I think we have a good plan. A lot of people are working really hard. I'm telling you, these folks in our ticket office and in our Bulldog Club, they've had to pivot like 3 times, to make this work. And I think all the fan bases in Mississippi have been forced to be patient and have to be nimble. And we appreciate that. But we're going to have more folks watching baseball in this state. And I was just thrilled with the news yesterday from our governor and from Dr. Dobbs, quite frankly. But it's going to take some responsibility from our fans as well, as Keith mentioned, upon entry with a mask. All those requirements are still there. And I also want to say the student athletes, the staffs coming in are going to be protected. There's going to be a buffer zone. We're going to take care of them, and we're going to abide by all of the COVID policies by the Southeastern Conference and the state of Mississippi.
Any opportunity for general admission or walk-up purchase of tickets for fans, whether it's this weekend or maybe down the line?
See, that, there's so many factors with baseball, as you all know, right? So you got a weather issue, and on days where you have more of a weather issue, we might have more availability on those days. Or if it's cooler, might have more availability on those days. If we know a certain amount of our chairback holders aren't going to show up, yes, we might be able to sell more. But again, all of this is connected within our facilities, and hopefully we're moving toward a direction. We play Arkansas here in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Actually, on the 26th of March. And we're hoping that we would love to be absolutely where Dudy Noble Field has been in the past for an event like that at that time. But I do think it's a building process, and our staff is going to have to adjust. But I do like the fact that we're going to be able to honor the majority, if not all, of our season ticket holders.
John, just a hypothetical, but if you could get as many people into the stadium this weekend as you could, how many people do you think would be there?
Well, with the new facility that we have, I'm going to mess this number up, but when we had Stanford in a super regional, and what an unbelievable atmosphere that was.
It was incredible.
I think the number, I think the number was 13,500-ish. So we know we can get at least that many. In the old days when we had no construction whatsoever in the outfield, outside of our left field lounge, folks, we could take them all the way back to the old road that was out there. So, we had the record set, the largest crowd in the history of college baseball. But I
Which, by the way, the sight lines from the road were not great for those people that were out there.
No, not at all. Not at all. But they were into it, and I had the good fortune of playing in that game. So that was a thrill for me as well.
John, I think I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. You said phased approach, but is the goal here to work this thing as close to full capacity as possible, especially if the opportunity to host in the postseason presents itself?
Absolutely. I don't.
Okay.
I think everybody involved, from the commissioner of our league to Keith, myself, our Dr. Mark Keenum at Mississippi State, our governor, all of us want packed stadiums. The question is, how quickly can we get there? How safe can we make the student athletes? What are the COVID numbers like in our state? All of this has to be monitored, and we want to move in that direction. Let me tell you something. And again, this is like Keith. I played baseball at Mississippi State. I was a baseball coach at Mississippi State. Now I'm the athletic director. There is nobody on this planet who gets as charged up about seeing a full house at Dudy Noble as John Cohen. And I would love that to happen as quickly as we possibly can. I get that same charge when I walk into our football stadium or softball or tennis or whatever it is. And I want what our fans want. I want what the people of Mississippi want. I want full stadiums, but we're going to do it the right way.
John, you haven't set a date yet for Super Bulldog weekend. Were you waiting on an announcement like this to make that kind of proclamation? And do you have an idea of when it's going to be?
Yeah, we're going to release that very shortly. And again, we were waiting on the governor's orders. We're waiting on several of those facts. So it's not going to be long. We will be releasing that soon. And obviously we're very excited about that as well. And when that date comes, we're hoping we can have a full stadium.
You said the ticket office had to pivot 3 times, and certainly understand that. You guys had to pivot as well, along with Coach Lemonis and his staff, to find a new opponent this weekend. Did that process go easily when Tennessee Tech had to back out and you were able to get Kent State scheduled?
Well, I think it's only easy from the standpoint of, we live in a digital world where, you can get on the internet and immediately find out who had other cancellations. So I think there are 4 schools that Coach Lemonis was contacted immediately for a variety of reasons. He felt that the best option for us and really the best option for Kent State was to get together this weekend. They have a long haul. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I think it's a 12-and-a-half-hour drive, and I think they are driving. And a real credit to them. They want to play baseball and will do whatever it takes. That's one of the things about all of these athletes at all levels of the NCAA. The kids want to compete, And I just feel privileged that we're in a league, guys, that has done everything they can, where maybe some other leagues have said we're not going to compete. The SEC has said, yes, we are going to compete. We're going to do whatever it takes because that's part of the experience of these student athletes.
I feel like we accomplished something if we made you laugh in this 11 minutes. So this was a good day. It was a good day. John, really appreciate you taking a few minutes to kind of walk us through this process, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Keith Carter is the athletics director at Ole Miss. He joins us on the Farm Bureau phone line right now, and we're just going to jump right in. Finite amount of time, a lot of questions after the news yesterday from the governor's office. Keith, certainly appreciate your time on what I'm assuming has been maybe a busier day than you had planned on a Wednesday in early March.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Richard. Certainly had to adjust some of the meetings and pivot a little bit and work on some other things, but it's a good thing. And, I think we've been able to do that. I think our staff has worked really hard, and, looking forward to seeing where we can go.
All right, so what is on everybody's mind is what does this mean for Ole Miss baseball? And so kind of curious where you are in a planning or from a planning standpoint, and what baseball is going to look like going forward. Obviously, the news yesterday, the governor leaves 50% capacity restrictions for indoor arenas, but lifts all capacity restrictions on outdoor sporting venues.
Yeah, Richard, there's going to be a video that's going to come out very shortly, probably within the next few minutes, that's going to explain some of our process and kind of what we're looking at. Obviously, with the governor loosening the restrictions, it gives us an opportunity to bring more folks into Swayze and other, venues, outdoor venues for our spring sports that we're looking forward to. Obviously we got to do it in a safe and responsible way. And I think it would be a little bit irresponsible just to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and go from 25% to 100% right away. We want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. And two, just logistically, we got to change some procedures and get our stadium kind of ready for a larger capacity. Obviously, we got seats that are tied and barbecue grills that have been taken out, and a lot of different things that we've got to just do logistically as well. So it's going to take us a few days to do some of that stuff. But, I think we've got a great plan for increasing capacity. And, our goal is that, as we continue to push forward, obviously we're going to continue to monitor the virus and, what it looks like from a health and safety standpoint. But feel like we've got a great plan to phase in this approach of expanding our outdoor attendance for sure.
All right, so if it's phased in, are you to the point where you're ready to say, okay, from a percentage standpoint, this coming weekend it gets to X, and then we hope in 2 weeks it gets to X plus whatever?
No, I'm not sure we're ready to put out specific numbers yet, Richard. We're working hard to, again, maximize and optimize what we can do in a safe and healthy manner. I think our folks are going to be getting calls, here over the next few days that it talked about getting season tickets before February 1. Obviously, we had to tell a lot of those people, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get into the stadium. So we're going to try to get with those folks. And, anyone who had ordered a season ticket before February 1st, we're going to give them the opportunity to get into the stadium. And then from there, we're just going to kind of assess where we are. And, hopefully we'll be able to sell some game-by-game tickets as well, as we move forward. But, obviously we've got a couple of weeks here before SEC play starts. And, I think it's very important for us to not only do this fast, but to get it right. And I just think that's very important. I think our staff has done a great job of working through that. Obviously, a lot of conversations with the SEC office, with John Cohen and Jeremy McClain, other guys in the state, to do this together, to kind of phase this in and make sure we're all on the same page there and we're doing it the right way. But, I don't think that putting out a specific percentage right now is the right thing to do. But, I can tell our fans and our donors and all those that want to get into Swayze that we're working very hard to get them all back in there as soon as possible.
For people that bought season tickets this year, because there was such a limited number, first of all, the season was split in half. You either got, package A or package B. Is there an option for people that bought tickets originally to now be able to go to all of the games as opposed to just half of the season?
Yes. So anyone who was in our system that had ordered a season ticket before February 1st will now have the option to go to all the games. And so that's a great start. You know, that's a good number for us. It keeps us at a percentage that we feel like is a healthy number as we kind of monitor and you know, look at everything we need to over the next few weeks. And again, I think we've got a little bit of a test case here with some midweek games and some non-conference weekends that, you know, we're going to be able to work through and, again, try to make sure we're doing things the right way. So we're excited about it. We think that it's going to give our folks an opportunity to come to games, enjoy games. And, you know, again, we're going to hopefully have an opportunity to sell some tickets at, you know, at the box as well and hopefully get some more people in there. But all of those people who are originally, you know, wanting to have those season tickets, they're going to get an opportunity to come to all the games.
Keith, I'm curious, because of the allocation process that you had to use, most people are not in the seats that they were in years past. So, you know, if you sat in Section A in years past, you might be in Section N now, or you might be in the outfield now. With more seats opening up, are the people who got seats that are vastly different from where they're used to being? Is there an opportunity for them to move from the outfield back into the stadium? Or do you get what I'm asking?
Yes, and in theory, Richard, everyone, again, who had signed up for season tickets before February 1st would go back into their original seats. They would go back to their original number of season tickets. You know, we were capped at 4 with the 25%. So, you know, really it's pretty much back to business as usual for those folks. You know, again, it's not going to be a full capacity. You know, we did not sell quite as many season tickets this year as we have in the past. We had kind of cut it off at a certain point. So there's going to be others that are going to want to get into the mix and try to get into the stadium. And certainly we're working toward that. But we just felt like it was the right thing to do to let all of those people that, you know, had shown loyalty and had wanted those season tickets to get them back in. So they'll be able to get back in their original seats with their original ticket numbers.
Okay, so I think you said, I'm just going to ask it a different way to make sure that I understand. If you were a previous season ticket holder and you signed up to buy season tickets prior to February 1st, then you are going to return to the location of your previous seats as this unfolds?
That is correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. We got a question on the C Spire text line as you were mentioning that. What about other safety measures in place? The mask mandate statewide was lifted. Is there still going to be a policy where masks are required in the stadium?
Yeah, so we will continue a face mask policy, and basically, Richard, it will be for ingress and egress as you are in transit throughout the stadium. So if you're not in your seat, you're going to the restroom, you're going to the concession stand, you're going to need to have that mask on. But when you get to your seat, you will be able to take your mask off. So we felt like we needed to make sure that we were trying to uphold some of these safety protocols. Obviously, we've got people that are going to be in elevators. We've got people that are going to be in queuing lines for concessions and those type of things. So we felt like that was important. So, you know, one of the important things our folks will need to remember is that they will need that mask to enter the stadium. And they'll need it to move around the stadium. But once they get to their seat, they'll be able to take it off.
All right, I'm going to try and throw 3 more questions at you in a couple of minutes as we wrap things up. And I really appreciate you giving us some time this afternoon. What about left field? I've had some questions from people that have had tents out there in grill sections out there. Curious what that's going to look like for them going forward.
Left field will go back to normal. We will allow those grills and those tent areas back in. We are
starting this weekend.
Yes, starting this weekend.
Okay.
We will move the chairs that are currently in left field over to right field, and so that each of our students, we will actually double our student section out in right field as well. Each of those students will have a seat out there. So that's one thing we've looked at, and again, a lot of conversations with John, and I believe John's coming on the show later.
Yes.
But you know, we're in lockstep with Mississippi State. Talked to Jeremy McClain this morning at Southern Miss. I think everybody agrees this is the right way to do it. You know, Richard, the other thing that I really want to stress is that, you know, none of the safety protocols for our student athletes have changed. All of the testing protocols are the same. We're creating buffer zones around our dugouts, our bullpens, those type of things to make sure that, you know, they would not be in contact with our attending fans, because that's obviously priority number one for us is keeping them safe. So all of that will stay the same, and obviously a lot of the health precautions will stay in place in the stadium. We'll just have more people there.
And one of the other two questions I was going to ask you about was students in right field. So you said doubling the number of students. So the ballpark number, what does that give them the opportunity for out beyond right field?
Richard, we're going to double the number in right field.
Okay.
We need
so twice as many as were there last weekend. Fair enough. And then basketball on Saturday. Any changes for basketball based on the restrictions going up to 50% there? I know it's only one game left, and maybe that makes a difference.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to increase. I mean, we were at 10%, where most of the teams in our league were around 25% anyway. So we're going to increase there. We're going to sell some extra student tickets as well. Our ticket office is going to work in conjunction with some of our season ticket holders that when we went to 10%, similar to baseball, once we went to 10%, we had to tell some folks no. We're going to reach out to those folks and see if they want to come to the game Saturday. So should be a nice crowd there for Vanderbilt on Saturday evening.
When did you switch from AD to politician, this whole dodging numbers thing? This is new for you.
Well, this is a very, very sensitive topic, Richard. I mean, in all seriousness, this is something that we're excited about. I think the other institutions in our state are excited about as well. But at the same time, the virus is still here. It's still here, and we've got to be very careful with this. I think one of the main things, obviously, we know baseball is important. We know our other spring sports are important. We know hosting regionals in this state for baseball and softball are important. But also, on the broader scale, we got to think about next fall. We don't want to do anything trying to move quickly that is going to hurt us for the fall and next year. We want to make this a 1-year issue. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure we're optimizing what we can from an attendance standpoint, but certainly do it in a safe way and in a responsible way.